Graduation is coming up soon, and the seniors are ready to make their final splash.
If you totally relate to being overwhelmed with school, we have some helpful tips for you coming up.
It's that time of year, Bobcats. Finals are around the corner and the pressure is on. Luckily, Texas State is here to help. Can you believe that the 2024 semester end is near? It went by in a flash, and now it's time for final exams. We have some pro tips to get you through it.
And I got to spend time with some of these cute fur balls.
Hi, and welcome to Bobcat Update. I'm Angelica Luna.
And I'm Montserrat Luna. Hey Angelica, do you graduate next month?
Not next month, in December. I'm close though. How about you?
I do, and I can't wait to take part of a long tradition here at Texas State, the graduation river jump. Kylie Lehman and Jazz Gonzalez take us out to Sewell Park.
As a long-standing tradition at Texas State, the river jump stands at the heart of Bobcat celebration. With friends and family all around, newly graduated Bobcats jump into the San Marcos River as a way to celebrate their commencement. We stopped by Sewell Park to talk with some Bobcats to get their thoughts on the jump for the big day.
I actually grew up right down the road from Texas State, so I've always known about the river jump. I'm definitely excited to, as long as the water level stays decent, right?
It's all a part of the community of Texas State, and that was really something that made me want to go here, is that everyone knows each other and everyone is working together for a common goal. And we all get to jump in the river together once we finish it.
Everybody lined up after, everybody came down right after, lined up. It was a blast, honestly. If I could do it again, I totally would.
It's unforgettable. Once you jump into the river, you're never going to forget that.
All right, with all that being said, Bobcats, I will see all you soon-to-be grads here in a week. With Bobcat Update, I'm Jazz Gonzalez, signing off.
Now, before we get to the river jump, we have to finish our last few classes, and final exams are about to start. Jasmine Hall and Andrea Naro have pro tips on how to study and pass.
Oh hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Andrea Narro and I'm with Bobcat Update, and here are some advices to prepare for finals. With finals coming up our way, students are looking for better ways to prepare and ace their finals. It's no secret that time management is one of the main steps to prepare correctly for finals week, as well as resting and taking care of ourselves properly. Texas State student Victoria Vargas shares some advice on how to properly take care of ourselves.
So another thing too would be definitely sleep, because you literally you can't study and everything when you're on running 2 hours of sleep. So definitely sleep. Make sure to have time to eat too. Literally plan out what time you can eat during your day and stuff like that.
Along with self-care, another great piece of advice is to look for help when needed. Texas State provides many resources for students, such as the Student Learning Assistance Center, best known as SLAC. It's located on the 4th floor of Alkic. SLAC's student volunteer, Farhan Kuverji, shares his own ways to prepare for finals.
And for preparing for finals, it's one of the only times I create a detailed schedule of what I need to get done and when I need to get it done by. For theory classes, I like to reorganize my notes and maybe rewrite them if I want to learn them, and I try my best to understand them because I feel like that's the way I learn rather than just memorizing it and regurgitating it on a piece of paper. If it's a math-related class, then obviously keep practicing.
And if after trying to prepare by yourself it doesn't seem good enough and you're looking for one-on-one tutoring, don't hesitate and come by SLAC to get all the help you need.
You can check into different sections. We have math, science, business, writing, statistics, science, physics, chem, bio. And I think we have logic too. So if you just check in and there's not a lot of students that are not at full capacity, you can just come and sit as long as you want and get the services you need.
Texas State provides great resources for students to do great in their classes. You can find many places around campus where it's quiet enough to sit down and prepare for finals. And remember, time management is key to succeed in all of your finals. Don't procrastinate and leave everything for the last minute. Be smart and plan ahead. Good luck, y'all. Now back to the studio.
And something else comes along with final projects and exams: stress. But Cameron Albright and I found out the university offers different ways to help manage that. The spring semester is notorious for going by in a flash. One day you're reading your syllabus, and the next, all of your final projects and exams are due. Scale of 1 to 10, what's your stress at?
Probably a 6.
Probably like 8.5.
My stress right now is probably sitting around an 8, for sure.
You don't have to suffer alone, though. Texas State offers many different resources to help manage your stress and anxiety during final season. For starters, ALCAC is open from 7:30 a.m. to 1 a.m., Monday through Thursday, and hosts events to help students get ahead of deadlines, like the Long Night Against Procrastination that took place on April 24th. And if you need to wind down with a furry friend, ALCAC will have therapy dogs on Tuesday, April 30th from 1 to 3 p.m. on the second floor media corner. And if you want to speak to a professional, then you can go to the Counseling Center located in LBJ, where clinicians like Dr. Richard Martinez, a senior psychologist and assistant director of the Counseling Center, are ready to help.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things students can do. I like to always start off with the basics. So, really making sure that students aren't putting their basic needs on the back burner, even with all those assignments and exams and different pressures and stressors that they have on their plate. Know that you're not alone, that's a normal part of the college experience, experiencing stress. That's part of being human. Reminder that it's temporary too. So after that first week of May, things are going to feel so much better.
Pressure and stress from finals can be isolating, so don't forget you're not the only one running off of caffeine and cortisol this final season. Take a breather and finish strong. For Bobcat Update, I'm Angelica Luna. One thing that helps us get through the end of a class with a minimum of stress: a great professor.
Reporter Vienna Gomes and videographer Blake Bailey introduced us to some teachers that are so good, they earned special recognition from Texas State's system regents.
Since 2007, the Texas State University system has annually honored a professor each year who has achieved excellence in teaching, research, and community service. This year's winner, Michael Devlin, tells us more.
College votes within our department, then it goes up to the college level, and they vote for who's the, I don't want to say the best because they're all great, but whoever has the best requirements for that. And then from there, each college sends up their winner. So it's kind of like an elimination where you're competing with your department and your college and then the university. Utter disbelief and shock. For me, this was really a bittersweet moment. My first year teaching, I was actually such a bad teacher that some people on my committee voted to not renew my contract. So it was 10 years of me refining and learning and developing and studying and mentoring and finding mentors. So to go from a place where I felt that I shouldn't even be a teacher to then being nominated for this award and then receiving it really showcased that journey. And so for me, it was more of a moment to show that when you put in the hard work and you truly believe in something and you like doing it, those things can happen, but you got to put in the work.
I'm Vienna Gomes, now back to you in the studio.
Have you ever had a class with any of those professors?
I haven't, but they seem pretty amazing. I bet they have great advice for young new professors.
Speaking of advice, college seniors, what would you tell a new student?
One thing I wish I knew when I got to college was no 8 a.m.s.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is threatening to sue San Marcos. We'll show you why.
One of your favorite local restaurants is owned by a couple of fellow Bobcats, and later,
you can take them home, let them nap on your couch, let them nap on the floor. That is really one of my favorite things.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
In January, the Texas Attorney General's office announced plans to sue 5 Texas cities over their marijuana policies.
One of them is San Marcos, which decriminalized possession of small amounts. Reporter Zane Forsberg and videographer Michaela Williams talked with some advocates about the potential suit.
In November of 2022, 82% of voting San Martians casted their ballots in favor of decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana. Prop A formally ended all arrests and citations for marijuana possession below 4 ounces, but in January 2024, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton launched a lawsuit against San Marcos as well as 4 other Texas cities over their non-enforcement of Texas's zero-tolerance marijuana policy. In his press release announcing the lawsuits, Attorney General Paxton said, quote, "I will not stand idly by as cities run by pro-crime extremists deliberately violate Texas law and promote the use of illicit drugs that harm our communities." The decision to sue these towns has sparked outrage, not the least from Texas State's Motto Amiga and Students for Sensible Drug Policy chapters. We got the chance to sit down with founding members of Texas State's SSDP, Blake Coe and Mason Strahlmeyer, and ask them about why they think Ken Paxton is suing San Marcos.
To distract from the headlines that have his name and lawsuit and settlement and taxpayer funds.
What he thinks the city, who has remained mostly silent on the matter, will do about the lawsuit.
Still haven't heard any statement from them. I have no reason to believe that they're just going to capitulate to that. San Marcos is a home rule city and we have the ability to decide where our tax dollars are spent, and pursuing low-level possession amounts of cannabis is a huge waste of taxpayer resources.
And what this lawsuit will represent to the movement against the war on drugs.
Every time that anybody tries to do something other than what the government wants to do with drugs, the government cracks down on it. And that's been the playbook over and over and over again. But now we're able to take that movement and push it back in their faces with Prop A, and now there's a whole new movement coming through in Lockhart.
Strahlmeyer recently attended events in Washington, D.C., advocating to representatives and citizens for cannabis to be descheduled as a restricted substance, the release of all cannabis prisoners, and the expungement of their records. He also talked about the vigil held for people currently in prison for marijuana possession.
They're in there for some of them up to 40 years, rotting, just rotting. So we blew a few candles for them, or we lit a few candles. We did some chanting, free the people, free the plant, on Joe Biden's house, at Joe Biden's house. We hope he heard us. He made a few tweets on 420.
Currently, progress on Ken Paxton's lawsuit is moving slowly, with little acknowledgement of it from the city of San Marcos or from the Attorney General's office. Safe to say, we'll continue hearing about this one for a long while longer. For Bobcat Update, I'm Zane Forsberg.
Grin's restaurant, just north of LBJ, is known for cheap drinks, comfort food, and a big back patio. But there's something you may not know about it. It's owned by a couple of Texas State alumni. Reporter and videographer Fernando Rangel introduces us.
We'll step into Grin's Restaurant, a cherished San Marcos institution for over 40 years, where the legacy of 99-cent margaritas and a homemade menu thrives under the ownership of 2 Texas State University alumni, Paul and Johnny. Join me as we uncover their journey and challenges. I first asked Paul, what inspired you most to start Grin's Restaurant at Texas State University?
So we opened up in Valentine's 1975, and I was the first cook hired March 1st, 1975 for $2 an hour. It was my senior year in college, and I was working 40 hours a week at a motel in town as a night clerk, and I could make the same amount of money if I worked 30 hours here compared to 40 hours there. So I was on top of the world.
As someone who has been here from the start, Paul shares some of the most memorable moments he has had over the restaurant's journey.
We're a mom and pop restaurant. We're one of the last dinosaurs in San Marcos, and it's just a pleasure to serve. And there's a lot of satisfaction when people say, "Yeah, I've been over there and it's great." Or I was at a ball game last night, and a guy behind me in Austin was saying, "Yeah, I go down to San Marcos and eat at my favorite restaurant." And my wife said, "What was it?" He says, "Grins," and that just makes you feel good.
I asked Savannah, a student working here at Grin's Restaurant, what it's like working here.
Well, one of my favorite things about working here has been the amount of people that have come back. I get a customer about every day that's like, well, this is my first time being back in like 30 years. And we have people that visit just about every day, people that live here in San Marcos, and I think it's amazing just how long they've been around. At this restaurant, they work really well with our school schedules. I've loved it. It's been pretty easy for me to work here and go to school. It's a walking distance from the school. It has been challenging having to manage a workload and school at times.
As we conclude our visit to Grin's restaurant, its legacy shines bright. Until next time, I'm Fernando Rango.
If you're about to graduate like we are, think back to your first or second year here.
What do you wish you knew then? Or what might you tell your future self? Reporter Jeremiah Patterson joins us with a look.
That's right. I went out and talked with underclassmen and upperclassmen to find out what they think about college life.
When coming to college, many students walk in blindly to what all comes with being a college student. There are many things we don't know or learn until we experience college firsthand. To some people, these lessons are small and don't matter as much to them. But to us college students, they are valuable lessons that we learn and take in everyday life. I walked around campus and asked different students what are some things that they wish they knew when they got to college. Some answers varied, while some said the same answers as previous students. Let's hear what they had to say.
Something I wish I knew before I came to college was how adaptable I would have to be to my environment. There's a lot of things that aren't common to you in like what you have learned throughout your 18 years prior to joining and coming to college. So that's a big thing.
Networking. I wish I got out more and talked to more people when I first got to college and got out the dorm room.
One thing I wish I knew before I went to college is how to manage my time better. You can get a lot of stuff thrown at you while you're in college, so just knowing how to manage my time better is something I wish I knew before I got to college.
I wish that I knew that I could get college credits in high school by doing like dual credit, and also that they offered summer classes, because I wasn't told about summer classes until I needed to make up for my credits. So yeah, I just wish that I knew I could have gotten ahead in getting my credits here, and I could have stayed getting ahead by participating in summer courses.
I wish before I got to college I knew where the academic advising center was, so it's easier to create my schedule for next semester.
How to save money better.
One thing I wish I would have known about college is how much your friend groups evolve and change as you go through.
One thing I wish I knew when I got to college was no 8 a.m.s.
I wish I knew how to use my dining dollars.
One thing I wish I knew before I got to college was checking the campus map before planning out my schedule so I can make sure I can make it to my classes on time.
I enjoyed interacting with my fellow students and seeing the difference in answers, and was able to relate to many of the students. While some students opened my eyes to some different answers that I may have forgot about.
Marcy and Angelica, what advice might you have for somebody who's just starting a college career?
I would say just take care of yourself, right? Make sure that you're sleeping, getting that sleep, eating well, because that's a really good way to make sure you're also doing well in school, because you need to take care of yourself before you take care of your grades and all that.
I agree.
I would say take your time. You're only running on your own timeline, nobody else's. It'll get done.
I agree with both those points, and man, that is some great advice. I wish I knew that coming into college.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
In this next story, I teamed up with Peyton Christopherson to embark on a new adventure to make some new furry friends. Here's what we learned about the San Marcos Animal Shelter's Dog's Day Out.
Millions of dogs are entering shelters each year, but what can a college student do to change that? Maybe you don't have the time to adopt, or maybe your apartment complex doesn't allow it. The San Marcos Animal Shelter gives people the opportunity to adopt a dog for a day. Sometimes even just a day can make all the difference.
So our Dog's Day Out program really is for the dog's mental health. Shelter life is extremely stressful for a dog. There's barking, there's loud noises. They're in a kennel probably about 20 hours a day. And so it can be really difficult on their mental health. So the application is on our website. Once you submit that application, our foster volunteer coordinator will send you an email to get your day scheduled. You just need to submit that application, be over 18 years old. We do ask for a current ID and then some contact information for you, just so we can get a hold of you.
Even if you don't have a full day planned for outdoor excursions, That's all right. Some dogs just want some one-on-one.
So I think the activity that pops to most people's head is to go on a hike. But if you have no other pets in the home and you're just wanting to watch a movie, hang out, binge your favorite Netflix show, you can take them home, let them nap on your couch, let them nap on the floor. That is really one of my favorite things because it is in-home notes as well for adopters, but exercise is great, but also just that complete decompression in a quiet house is really wonderful as well.
Participating in Dogs Day Out also gives free publicity to adoptable dogs, from either posting pictures on social media or just seeing their adorable Adopt Me bandanas out in public. So whether it's adoption, Dogs Day Out, or stopping by to volunteer, the impact we can have extends far beyond these shelter walls. For Bobcat Update, this is Peyton Christofferson.
It looked like you had fun with that story.
We did, and it's such a great way to test whether you're ready for a dog or not. And you know what? It also makes you really want to adopt one.
I bet. Such a smart idea. That's all we have for this week. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Bobcat Update.
Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.